morning and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea. It's lovely to have you here with me. I thought I'd pop on today basically for a chat, you know. I know this isn't live. I tend to record what I do and post it up. I just haven't got to grips with lives, to be honest with you. So I will respond to the comments that you pop in below this video. So as you know, if we go back a few videos, I was telling you about my foray into the world of the Thoth Tarot. I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. I love my RWS, and I will continue to always use RWS and Marseille and other divinatory, cartomancy decks. I will also incorporate Thoth. Now today I have chosen to do a general spread for myself, one that I'm sort of going to share here, because it's quite different the way we read Thoth, really. Although we have images on our cards, say for instance, let's look at this one here, the Aeon, it's sort of, well, what is it? How do we interpret it? Do the images sort of feed our thought processes in the same way that a RWS card may or may not? So today I've done the 10 card Celtic cross spread for myself, and the positions that I've used as centre of the sense of you know, the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And those positions are present position, the immediate influence, the goal or destiny, distant past, recent past events, future influence. Then I've got the questioner, being myself, environmental factors, inner emotions which cover your fears, etc., and the final result. So I didn't have any specific questions in mind. I just wanted a general reading for me as from where I am now, what the potentials are going forward, what has influenced me from the past to be where I am today, and what could be the potential outcome. It was an extremely interesting reading, and because I am relatively new to Thoth, well, not relatively new, I am new to Thoth, I opted to refer to this book here, Tarot, Mirror of the Soul. This is a book that's been written by Gerd Ziegler, and it's a handbook for the Thoth Tarot. I have found this quite deep, because whereby we might see a card and think, oh my gosh, that's a real negative or dark card, or how on earth am I going to interpret this? For instance, my future influence was ruin. Now, when you first see that, you think, yeah, okay, but then when you see the word ruin, you think, ah, bugger. I really didn't want that as my future influence. However, it's the manner in which we read the card. We don't just take that one word. It's like seeing the tower and going, oh, holy God, everything's just going to be a complete and utter shit show, and I'm going to be left bereft. Okay? Now, you can look at ruin through different ways. Remember, that's in the 6th position, future influence. And remember, future influence, not the definitive future outcome. Okay? It's the potential future influence. So how do we go ahead and take that card? We're just looking at one focus, that card, how we can allow one word on a card to sort of make us consider, holy God, this is the future, this is what's going to happen. Don't panic. This is a great book to refer to, because this is the clue, Mirror of the Soul. So let's go back to the very beginning of this reading and look at the very first card. So the very first card was the Prince of Wands, okay? The Prince of Wands. And when we look at this Prince of Wands, and don't think in the same way you would read an RWS Prince of Wands. This is a different system in its own right. Yes, there are similarities, but there are also differences. And what I like about this Prince of Wands, this is a chariot. He's on a chariot. Just look at that there. And all this indicates speed, things happening, you taking life by the short and curlies and running with it. And to start off, as Paul on the Dove and Serpent Tarot always says when he starts off with his reading, that this card is all about you. And to get something like this for me was extremely positive in the here and now. What's happening? What, you know, creativity wise, if we look, one's about our creativity, our desires to succeed, our drive, our ambition. And when we get that as where we are now, we can say, well, okay, so I might not feel that I am currently in that sort of movement, that directiveness, that sort of eagerness to push on, but then stop and think. For me, and I am sharing this reading with you, I hope you don't mind, for me, that indicated my drive where I am now. Now, at this moment in time, personally, there are issues that I am having to deal with, okay? But dealing with them, it depends on our mindset, our heart, and our common sense, to be quite honest with you, as to how we read this. Yes, things are moving pretty quickly in my life. That being said, I have no, I'm still waiting on information, okay? That being said, I'm still waiting on information. But then do I see my arts, my crafts, my writing moving as quickly? I don't feel as if they are. Not the writing, but the gardening, the painting, the reading tarot and making my notes. That's all in constant movement. So remember, you've got to look at it and say, well, it's okay going, oh, well, I don't feel like that. But then what's the card that's crossing it? What is either the hurdle, the obstacle, or what can be your drive going forward? What did I get for that? I got the High Priestess. What a wonderful card to get. Because if this is what's crossing me, okay, this is what is either helping or hindering me move forward. And this can be looked at two ways. It can be helping me because I'm listening to my intuition and I'm following my intuition. I'm following my own feelings and beliefs and not being influenced by others. It could also be an indication that in order to move forward, it could be sort of an admonishment in a way. Start listening to your intuition. You're not moving forward because you are not going with your gut instinct. You're not listening. You're not realizing that you have the skills to look at a situation and say, I know I can do this. I know I can carry on going forward. I know these are the steps I need to take. I know I have to sort of build my my own confidence, but also attend to my own spirituality, because this High Priestess also doesn't just look at our intuition and our psyche, it also looks at our spirituality. Is this card saying, Elaine, take note, you need to look at X, Y and Z? Or is it saying, Elaine, you're moving forward because you are putting your intuition into play. You are doing X, Y and Z, and that's why this is where you're moving forward. If you want to move forward in this direction, you need to listen to your intuition. You need to stop your procrastination, etc., etc. Okay, so we can look at it from 2 points here. How have I looked at it from my point of view? From the positive aspect that I do listen to my intuition, that I am referring to my spirituality, to my practices. I am taking part in my interests, and I am listening to how I feel bodily, how I feel mentally, and how I feel emotionally. Because we need to look at all those aspects of ourselves when planning our forward motion. Okay, so then we have our third card, which is the card at the top. Okay, so the top of the Celtic cross. I will try to insert a photograph here on this. Technology it used to be something I was really good at when I was working and teaching, but it hadn't come as far as it has now. So now I'm falling behind. So I digress. Let's have a look. You might get surprised, and there might be a picture of the reading in this area as we move forward in this reading. So what was at the top of that reading? Now, the top of that reading is my goal, my destiny. And look at that. What a beautiful card. Happiness. That's my goal. That's my destiny. As long as I have got just enough to be able to put food on the table, keep a roof over our head, have my family around me, that's my happiness. Okay? And that is my goal. So, do I feel that that's in the right place? Do I feel that drawing that card is indicative of what I would like as a future goal? Absolutely. I'm retired. My days of where it's, promoting career, they have gone. And when I say gone, I don't mean gone as in, look, I have moved on. I had to retire. And my aim now is not to be king of the hill in a career. My aim is to enjoy my retirement, to have as long a retirement as I can, to be this side of the grass as long as I can, and to ultimately be happy. And also, under that umbrella of happiness is incorporating my family and friends and hoping that they too can be part of this happiness. So for me, that card there was spot on. And what I liked about that in having that there, it's sort of, filling myself with harmony and my environment. Okay, so do I feel that that is right so far? So far, the first three cards we've had, I feel are spot on. And I find that the fact that we already have an understanding, a knowledge of tarot, and albeit a different system, that system gives you the skills to enable you to take the methods you use to incorporate them in this different system and help you formulate your findings. It does help when you refer to books on the Thoth Tarot, because this is a learning process. I don't think anybody ever, anywhere, could ever hand on heart say, I know absolutely all there is to know about tarot. That's an impossibility, because tarot is a lifelong learning process. Times change, people change, meanings can change. Okay, not fundamentally, but as they grow to suit society as we live today. So those three cards, so far, so good. Now, we then go into the realms of card number 4, and card number 4 is the distant past. And for the distant past, I got indolence. Okay, indolence. What is indolence? Because the Thoth uses a different language, different sort of style of language than what we're used to. Not language as in different countries' languages, but different uses of the English language. So what is indolence? And unless you have come across these words, you might have to look them up. But indolence is laziness. It's procrastination. It's saying, oh, I'll do everything mañana. It's not being at your best. It's putting off today, what you can do today for tomorrow, and sometimes that tomorrow doesn't come. So when I drew that card, you for each of these you can have an affirmation for yourself, and that is again something that I've learned through using this tarot mirror of the soul. So I drew a second card and I got the 8 of Swords, and I thought that's 2 8, and this is interference. Okay, so interference, indolence, it's all like, oh my God. So what happened when I pulled that fourth card, okay, the extra fourth card to explain that? It's, you know, I am relaxed and I trust life. Okay, so we have the indolence, the laziness, then we've got to come in, kick that laziness into touch in order to bring us round to our next card, which is our very recent past. So the indolence came round and it led to the 5 of Cups, which is disappointment. Now that is a sort of follow on that is like, my God, so where did my indolence come in here from distant past? Okay, maybe not being as healthy as I should, living a healthy life, all work and no play. No, I worked hard, I played harder. So there's the laziness there, the indolence there came in the form of self-care. There were issues with that I dealt with and moved on. And in the very recent past, there's been a bit of disappointment because I have had to go back under the care of the health system. Okay, and that has brought its disappointment. So we're looking at that and we think, well, oh my God, okay, so how do I move on? Let's go back and see what was blocking our progression. It was our High Priestess. You've got to listen in here. It's okay getting cards that are on the darker side of tarot, but you've got to look at them and say, well, hold on. This isn't necessarily the darker side. This is advisory, okay? Now, that was in the past. It's gone. The indolence has gone. The disappointment has been in our very recent past, and the very recent past is going. Now, potential future being ruin. Now, remember, this card here is future influence, potential future influence. And what did I say ruin is? Well, if we're going to link these two cards here, ruin is actually created through constant negative thoughts. So ruin comes because you're focusing on too much negativity. I am happy to say that that card is there in an advisory capacity, stating that if you stay in this orb, this bubble of disappointment, looking at the potential negative of a situation, it's going to cause you ruin. It's looking at your mental health, it's looking at your physical health, it's looking at your emotional health, and it's looking at how you are looking at the situation. And the situation is entirely down to how you view it. You can take a situation that can be the most negative of situations and go, oh, woe is me, why me, what's going on? And that will lead to ruin because you are not saying, okay, shit's happened, how are we going to get over it? And this is where you come back to that High Priestess. You look at the situation and say, hold on a second, you've got this. The High Priestess is telling you, listen to you. Go back to your meditation. Go back to your listening to your intuition. Eat healthy. Do what's good for you. Focus on what you're going to do once you are over this hurdle and how you're going to move forward. Don't focus on, oh my God, there's a hurdle. It's negative. It's going to make me feel poorly. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. Focus on how, once you have overcome this hurdle as best you can, that you're going to move forward. So now we're coming on to that long run in for card 7, 8, 9 and 10. 10 being the result, the final outcome. So we've looked at this, and this is telling us if you focus on the negative will happen. And we all know that that is the case. If you are going to focus on the negativity, you draw negativity to you. Focus on the positive, focus on your steps moving forward, and turn that card into a positive card, stating that if you focus on this, then that you are the master of your own demise. You need to look at that and say, right, okay, that's my heads up. That's the potential future influence if I don't adjust my thoughts, deeds, actions, okay? If I don't adjust my feelings, if I don't focus on the positive. So let's look at the card number 7. So card number 7 that I got, that position is the questioner, and the questioner is me, and I got the Aeon, okay? Now, when we look at the Aeon and we think, well, which card's that Aeon? That's like our judgment card, okay? It's looking back. What have we learned from what has preceded where we are now? And again, this links in to our recent past, it links into our distant past, and it links into how we have potentially attracted negativity because of our negative thoughts and feelings. So what are we learning going forward? To look at things more positively, to learn from the mistakes we made and not make them again, not repeat things that might have brought us and put us into the doldrums, okay? This not only focuses on your own self, and as I've said, your emotional, physical and mental health, it also looks at your surroundings. What lessons have you learnt through how you've put yourself out there, how people have potentially used the good side of you and brought you down emotionally and mentally and physically? What did you learn from that? Learn to say no. Learn to be you. Learn to just be and be true to yourself. So looking back, you learn from all the experiences that life has thrown at you. You sit down and you say, well, how can I change this going forward? Well, I'm no longer going to be a mug. I'm no longer going to be a doormat. I'm going to be myself, my true self. It does not mean that I'm going to be unkind or cruel. It's just that I'm not going to allow others to be unkind or cruel to me or use me. Okay, so that is learning and progressing forward. We then move to card 8, which is the environmental factors. Okay, so environmental factors, I got the Lover's card, which was really great to get because my personal environmental factor is strongly supported by those I have in my life, my nearest and dearest, who support me. And this can be looked at in one of two ways. It's either a relationship could be deepening or relationship could be ending. Looking at my cards, this is a clear indication of deepening relationships, deepening friendships, deepening any sort of interaction that I have with others that's going to benefit us all moving forward. But that deepening also depends on how I see me and how I see others around me. Now, we can either make that deepening deep for ourselves, or we can make it a good linked relationship, not self-serving, but sharing, not being taken for a mug, but being strong and independent. And as long as you've got the support of those around you, you're not going to fail. But equally, you need to be drawing on the positivity. And if there's somebody in the circle who might feel negative, might feel down, might be a what's the word for them, Debbie Downer, then you need to try and encourage that person to think positively, because you don't need, want, or desire negativity in your life where there are situations that have the potential to be negative on their own. You don't need anything impacting that negativity. So you need to look at it, you need to build yourself up and allow others to see you building yourself up, and as such they also grow from your strength and determination. Okay, so going forward now in position 9, our inner emotions. And what did I get? I got the 4 of Discs, power. So how can the 4 of Discs be power? Well, going forward, like I say, this one is inner emotions. So looking at the 4 of Discs, my inner emotions are telling me, have you got a strong foundation on which to build your road, your journey, your emotions, your physical, mental, emotional well-being? Do you have that strong foundation? 4s to me are always representation of foundations. It's the 4 corners. It's there. It's supportive. It needs to be strong. But is it also saying to you, think, are you too rigid in the way you move forward? Do you need to be able to be a little bit more pliable? Do you need to be able to say, well, look, this is working, but there's a little bit of an issue there. Let's see how we can go around it. Or are you so set in your ways that you cannot see a way around things? That could be saying to you, look at all of it. Look at your rigidity. Look at your flexibility. Look at your strength of self. It's okay having a foundation that sings power, but is it good? Is it a good power? Is it a positive power? Is it going to help you moving forward? Okay, you look at all these aspects. Sometimes we get cards like that, like I got the 8 of Cups, and that there was the indolence. So you pull a second card to ask, well, how can that help me? What deeper understanding can I have of that card? So you pull a second card. You can also do that with power. I didn't feel the need to do that because it sort of told me where I'm at. Okay, then we have the 10th card, which is the final outcome, and I got this beauty, the Chariot. Now, isn't it funny, right? I'm just turning my pages here because I made loads of notes on my own reading. I got the Chariot, but what did my reading start off with? It started off with another Chariot. So that's where we're at, and that's how it's going to continue. Okay, so how does this Chariot differ from this one? Well, first of all, that's the Prince of Wands. This is me, my Chariot, my drive. So let's have a look and see, what does this tell us? Okay, it's oncoming changes. Okay, because our Chariot is something that is in continuous motion. Okay, until we hit a crater and it all goes to shit. But it's continual movement, moving forward with strength, determination, speed, tenacity. You've got it. You're going for it. Okay, it's a card that promises to bring you to a positive point in your life. Okay, that if you are able to look at what we have discussed here, look at the positive. Don't focus on what's gone. Learn from what has gone. Don't think, oh, why did this person do that to me? Say, okay, this person did this to me, but I learned this about myself from it, and this is how I'm going to address any such occurrences in the future. I won't put myself in that position again. It's taking our A on and looking at what we need to focus on. Okay, and so you ask yourself, what areas of your life are you going to change? Are you ready to ring out the old and ring in the new? Okay, so ready yourself, put all your affairs in order, examine all possibilities, and when you move on from one aspect of your life to another, you leave a lot behind. You leave negativity behind. You leave sort of lessons you've learnt behind, and you move on with your new understanding, your new knowledge. Okay, you know, this card also is advising you to seek a place for yourself in your world where you can nurture yourself, where you can love yourself, where you can turn around and say, this is what I want to do, this is where I'm going, my life is changing. Everybody's life is changing every day. Okay, we can say, oh, same. Somebody might say, hi, how are you? And you go, oh, same shit, different day, or different day, same shit, that type of thing. No, don't do that, because that sucks you down. You look and go, oh, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, and today I'm going to focus on. And that's you moving forward in a very positive manner. Okay, so, you know, we're at a stage, I should be at a stage where I can plan for the next part of my life. I was a child, I was a student, I became a teacher, I am a retiree doing X, Y, and Z, and there's something new and more positive coming into my life because that's what I'm working on, you know, and it's lovely. And an affirmation for this that came from this book here is, I am putting my life in order and preparing for a new beginning. And that could be on any level. So folks, this is the reading that I did for myself today. I was using the Thoth Tarot. I have referred to the Tarot Mirror of the Souls by Gerd Ziegler, and I have had what I deem to be an extremely positive reading. So why don't you go ahead, do the same, and see how yours turns out. Have a lovely day, everybody. Bye now.